Hey everybody, Aaron here from the Cool Guys Nation, and welcome to part 2 of our multiple attacks Pathfinder video. Hopefully you watched the last video. If you haven't, you should go back and watch it. In this video, we're going to be focusing on natural attacks in addition to 2-weapon fighting and haste. This is very complicated and kind of crazy. This is a very extreme case of using the rules, which is why we are picking it. So if you disagree with anything that we say here, or if you find a rule that contradicts what we're saying, let us know in a comment and we will review it and check it out for you. So when we left off in our last video, we were talking about a level 15 lizard folk alchemist with a vestigial arm. I'm still really mad that you put that word in there. I'm just gonna call it an extra arm because I know I'm gonna mess it up eventually. And we have had haste cast on us, which gives us 3 base attacks at plus 11, plus 6, plus 1, and then our haste attack at plus 11. Now, we also have a dagger in our extra arm and 2 more natural attacks. So how would all of this work?
So the way Pathfinder describes natural attacks, they are generally speaking treated very differently from the base attacks and the multiple attacks that you get from having a high base attack bonus. For natural attacks, again, with a full round action, because you always have to take a full round action to get multiple attacks, despite what you might wish was the case.
We should say that immediately. In order to get multiple attacks of any kind, even your base attack, your plus 11, plus 6, plus 1, or whatever it is, you have to take a full round action, meaning you cannot move more than 5 feet in pretty much any circumstances.
Right. So for your standard character that has no natural weapons, full round action gets you your base attacks. In this case, there's 3 of them. Your haste attack plus your 2-weapon fighting. Put that on one side. Now on the other side, you have a creature that has multiple natural attacks. The way multiple natural attacks work is when you attack, as a full round action, you can attack with all your natural attacks. Any of your natural attacks that are considered primary, and they will be described as primary in the description, those natural attacks will be at your full base attack bonus. All natural attacks described as secondary will have a -5 penalty. So this lizard folk, if he wasn't wielding any weapons and just chose to attack with his 2 claws and his bite, he would get a total of 3 attacks, 1 with his bite and 2 with his claws. And in the case of the lizard folk, the bite, I believe, is considered primary.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's primary. But let's just
claws
say
are considered secondary.
Let's just say that the bite is primary and the claws are secondary.
It gets
in this case
really complicated when the natural weapons are combined with the manufactured or your base attack bonus, normal attack weapon.
So in this situation, you have a dagger in your extra arm, a spear in one of your arms, one hand that's a claw, and your bite and your haste.
Right.
So the haste is going to give you 2 spear attacks, let's say.
Correct.
So that's 2 right there.
Right.
Then you have your dagger, your bite, and your claw.
Right. So your haste will give you 2 spear attacks at your full attack bonus. Then because you have a plus 11 attack bonus, that means you also get the plus 6 and the plus 1 for the full attack option. Those are also with the spear.
So you're getting 4 attacks with the spear in total.
Yes. Now you add to it the offhanded attack with the dagger, which is a light weapon. That reduces those first 4 attacks with the spear by 4 and adds another attack, this 5th attack, which is at plus 3 for an offhanded light weapon.
And that's following the 2-weapon fighting rules.
Now you want to add natural weapons. The first thing to note, when you add natural weapons, you get to attack with all the natural weapons that are not already wielding a manufactured weapon. So they have to be free and available, which means that claw that is holding that spear cannot attack. That's the reason why I gave this character a vestigial arm. The vestigial arm is holding the dagger. That leaves 1 natural claw still free to attack, and the bite free to attack. So with the natural attacks, they're going to get 2 more attacks, the claw and the bite. Now the next thing to note is that when you are adding natural weapons with your normal manufactured weapons, those natural weapons are automatically considered secondary, which means they become -5 penalty. So you started at a plus 11, you take -5 on the bite, you take -5 on the claw, simply for the fact that you are combining them with the manufactured weapons. Finally, because you're taking 2-weapon fighting, and this is where the rules get very ambiguous, and unclear, and I would say not spelled out. When you attack with an offhanded weapon, it says that you get -4 for all attacks of your primary hand and -8 on your offhand. So now the question is, now you're adding to those attacks the attacks of your natural weapon. Do they get the penalties from the two-weapon fighting? The way I would rule it as a DM is that because you're attacking with additional natural weapons, they're considered secondary. Secondary is similar to an offhanded attack, and therefore they should face the penalties of an offhanded attack. In two-weapon fighting, if you do not have any feats and your offhanded weapon is a dagger or a light weapon, the penalty is -8.
So what we're going to do is we're going to add the two-weapon offhanded light modifier. Isn't that fun? This is fun,
Yes.
guys. Of -8. Plus, we're going to add the -5 for secondary natural attacks for a total of -12.
For a total of -13.
For a total of
Yes.
-13. There you go, 5 plus 8. I'm super good at that.
So 11 minus 13 now is a -2.
So that's not so bad. Now, what if you had the two-weapon fighting feat?
If you had the two-weapon fighting feat, then that reduces both the primary and the offhanded penalty to -2. So the primary goes from -4 to -2. The offhanded goes from -8 to -2. That just means that on the offhanded, you gained 6 more. So if you had the two-weapon feat, your full 7 attack progression would be 9, 11 minus 2, 9, 11 minus 2. Then you would have 6 minus 2, which is 4, 1 minus 2, which is -1. Those are just your primary short spear.
That's just the spear.
4 short spear attacks.
Okay.
Then you're attacking with your dagger, and in this case, you actually get to make that attack at 11 minus 2, so it's back at a 9. The offhanded weapon attack is at a 9. Then you're going to add to it your 2 natural attacks, and in this case, they are still considered secondary, so they're at -5. On top of that -5, as a DM, I would rule that they would take the -2 offhanded penalty, and therefore they'd be a total of -7 from 11 is +4.
4, I knew it. I knew that one. So, as you can see, you can get a lot of attacks, especially when you start combining natural attacks with primary weapons and secondary weapons. And when you start getting down to this rule level, things can get a little wishy-washy. The 2 things that are very important to note here. 1, the DM is always right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's always right. And in this particular case, he's the DM, so I don't care what your comments say, he's always right. No, if you disagree, leave a comment. The other thing to note is adding more attacks progressively makes your attacks worse. So you have to make a decision based upon how hard the enemy is to hit. If you're going to have a hard time hitting at +11, you probably won't get a lot out of adding 3 more attacks, even though it's really cool. If you think that at a -2 or a -3 or a +5, you're still going to be able to get a lot of hits out of it, then definitely go ahead and do it. In our next video, we are going to be looking at how to build the Lizard Folk Alchemist with a vestigial arm, because I think that's pretty cool. And if anybody wants to play it and get 7 freaking attacks, or at 3rd level, how many did you get? 5 attacks at 3rd level. When you add all that up, that's pretty awesome. So we're going to take a look at how to build that character. This has been Aaron and Daniel talking about Pathfinder on the Cool Guys Nation.